Water's getting deep now. Water's getting deep now. Follow me around. Yeah. Can you let me down?
Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel, Pages and Stitches. That's spelled pages, the number 3 stitches, both here and on Instagram. My name is Kelly and I'm a little late, but I'm finally bringing you my first update of the year of 2025. First, let me start off by saying I have my balcony door open because I'm trying to enjoy the nice weather today, but I'm not in the quietest area, so you're definitely going to hear like birds and probably kids playing and maybe even some traffic. So I apologize for that because it's not exactly the ambient noise that I want for this video, but it is what I have. So if you're new here, hello, welcome. Thank you for clicking on my channel. Like I said, my name is Kelly. You probably, if you're new here, don't know that I reside in Texas, which is why it's a beautiful 70 degrees outside with a breeze and my window's open. This is like the 2 weeks of spring that we get to enjoy before we go straight into summer for like 9 months. So I'm milking it for all it's worth. And if you are a returning friend and subscriber, thank you so much for coming back and thank you for your patience in waiting for my long overdue update. I did have a little bit going on in life that was kind of preventing me from coming to you sooner, that I just needed to get done before Flosstube, but everything that I needed to finish is completed, it's out of the way, and so now I'm here to talk stitching with you. So today is Wednesday, April 9th, and I'm gonna give you an update on everything I've accomplished since the start of the year. The last update I did was just at the beginning of January, I believe, and it was everything I did at the end of 2024. So now we're going into 2025 stitching, which is great. And I think in spite of the fact that I don't feel like I worked on a lot of things, I do still think I got a lot accomplished. Lots of stitching went in. I wasn't being lazy, I swear. And I'm excited for what I have to share with you today. I've got an FFO, I have 2 new starts, there's a finish I want to share with you, and then I have a bunch of whips. So hopefully that's enticing enough for you to stick around. And then of course at the end, I do have a little bit of haul. So if you are the type of person that doesn't mind being enabled by other people shopping, then stick around because that'll be at the end. Also, as you can see behind me on my design wall, I am a quilter. I also film quilting update videos, which I will be doing right after this. So if you are interested in quilting, or if you have any interest in what's going on behind me, stick around because that video will be going up after this one. And as is tradition, before we do anything, I want to start with my reading update. So the Pages of Pages and Stitches is representative of my third passion. So I've got my cross stitching, I've got my quilting, and then I also love to read. I read every single day, and I like to start my videos off with just a quick rundown of everything I've read since the last update. I don't necessarily give a review, but if you follow me on Instagram, I do give like a star rating and a little bit more information about it. I just like to share what I'm reading because whenever I'm watching other people's videos and they got a bookshelf behind them, I'm always snooping. Or if they talk about the books that they've read, I'm always like researching what it is that everyone enjoys. So just to feed those curiosities that you may or may not have, I like to go over my books. I'm gonna look down at my list as I read through these because I read a lot the last 3 months or so, a lot of sports, especially. So if I'm looking down, that's because I'm looking at my list. Okay. First, I read Lights Out by Navessa Allen, Briggs by Samantha Whiskey, Finally Mine by Lucy Score, Connor's Claim and Riordan's Revenge by Jolie Vines, Mile High, Caught Up, and Play Along by Liz Tomforde, A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle Jensen, The Ritual by Shantel Tessier, Not in Love by Ali Hazelwood, Double Pucked and Puck Yes by Lauren Blakely, Court of the Vampire Queen by Katie Robert, The Chase by Elle Kennedy, Rook and Rebel by Kate Crew, Pen Pal by JT Geissinger, Part of Your World and Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez, Romancing the Duke by Tessier, and then finally Pucking Around by Emily Rath. I read a lot. Okay, so that was life, that was reading. Let's get into the stitching, shall we? First and foremost, I want to start with my FFO. I'm so happy with this and I'm so proud of this one. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen it already, but I'm gonna give you a little bit of a closer look. So in September of last year, I finished this piece and brought it with me to the Queen City Stitch Retreat in Charlotte, North Carolina in October. And it was unfully finished at the time, so I could travel with it. And now it is framed and finished. So this, let me try and get the glare out. This is Snapdragon by Nora Corbett, and it is stitched on a 32 count linen in the colorway Serene by Picture This Plus. And I have fully finished her in this beautiful black and gold. I've got a double matte situation, which I did intentionally so that I wouldn't have to put spacers in there to account for the beads. And I think she looks so good. I'm so excited about her. I did frame her myself. I bought the supplies from Michael's and I took them home with me, and then I pinned and laced her and finished the frame myself. Here's the back. And let's bring you in for a closer look. She is a stunner. I love her so much. So I knew for sure when I took her in to get my supplies for the framing, I knew for sure I wanted this inner mat to be black to kind of match the outline of her wings. And I knew I wanted a little bit of a gold touch to the frame because she's got these goldy bronze beads around the edges of her wings. And also most of the frames in my place, you can't see them, but most of them, not all of them, have some sort of touch of gold because I just love a metallic moment. Sometimes I'm extra, so so that's what I went with for her. I think she turned out amazing. I stitched this one as a buddy stitch with my good friend Paula from Stitching in High Heels. She has also finished this. We displayed them at last year's Queen City Stitch Retreat on the table together. Hers was stitched on this lovely kind of berry pink, and they looked so different even though we stitched them called for with the colors and beads and everything, and they turned out, it's amazing how that you can, you know, do the same project but switch up the fabric, maybe switch up one of the colors, and it suddenly has a whole different feel. So definitely I'll have her channel linked down below, and any mention of like Flosstube channels or shops I will have linked down below. If it's not linked and you have a question about it, just shoot me a comment or an email, which will be in the description box, and then I'll rectify that. But definitely go to her channel to check out her finishes. She does some fabulous stitched projects as well. And I'm gonna see her again this year at the Queen City Stitch Retreat for another mirror themed retreat. We're both stitching on the same project again, which you'll see at a later update. So anyways, this is Snapdragon. This is my FFO. I'm so proud of her. I'm just kind of like staring at her in the camera and like drooling because I love her so much. But yeah, there she is. I hope you like her. Okay, so now I want to go through my whips and my new starts, and I'm gonna do these in the order that I worked on them over the last 3 months. So the first project I want to share with you was my New Year New Start. I did mention it in my annual whip parade, but I didn't have heaps of progress on that update, so I'll show you how much I was able to accomplish since then. So that's this project here. This is called Mother Nature by Designworks, and the artist is Liz Dillon. The reason why I mentioned this is because I had a comment on my last video or the one before about the possibility of Designworks not crediting its artists, and I just wanna, because she had mentioned that she thought this might be a Joan Elliott. It's not a Joan Elliott, but Designworks does have a ton of Joan Elliott artwork that they do license, and I can say for certain it is legally licensed. Every artist is mentioned at the bottom. I do have at least I've got a couple of DesignWorks kits going, and I know one of them, at least one of them, is a Joan Elliott. But I just wanted to reassure both her and anyone else who might be thinking that DesignWorks steals art. It is not stolen. It is legally licensed and copywritten, and all of the artist's information is included at the bottom. So don't let that deter you if you're thinking about just starting a DesignWorks kit, but you want to make sure you're doing it ethically. They do pay their artists and they are credited. Okay, that being said, this was my New Year, New Start. I'm stitching it with all of the kit materials, and they use DMC floss. All of the numbers are included, so that way if you ever run out, you know what to get. I'm stitching this on the kit fabric, which is a 14 count Aida. It's like a beige Aida. The color's not really listed, but it's like a beige tan Aida. And it is 2/1 full cross. And this is where I got to. I started in the middle, which is somewhere down here. And then the pattern I have split in two, and I've been working kind of up. So this is her knee right here. As you can see, the hand is there holding the little bird. So let me show you that in the picture. So right in here is where I am. And as you can see, that is a pretty significant size for such a small portion of the piece. So it's gonna be, she's gonna be a big girl. The size of the project is 16 by 20. So she's gonna be quite large, and everything kind of below this point here where her bust is basically full coverage. I think it is full coverage. So it's gonna be a hefty project, but I'm very excited about it because I really enjoy DesignWorks kits. I love the way they use color and the way they shade. So for example, looking in her skirt here, you can see there's like yellow and orange and green and pink, and when you're working on it, it looks as though like there's no way that's gonna blend together and look correct. But then when you look at the picture, that is in fact correct. So her skirt is kind of like a gossamer-esque texture, and then it fades down. It's like it bleeds into the forestry around her, which is why there's all those kind of funky colors. So I just have to trust the process, because I've done a DesignWorks kit before. I did my woodland castle, which I'll insert a picture of, and it was kind of a similar situation. You just trust the process, get more on there, and then step back from the work, and you can see sort of the magic behind it. The finished results are always lovely. So here's where I'm at. I did a little bit of the back stitching. So obviously I got a little bird back stitched, and I got the start of her hand. This is her arm going up, and she has her braid. This yellow part is part of her braid. And then a lot of this is blank space because this is the background, or like the sky. Whenever I pull her out again and get back to it, I don't really know which direction I'm gonna go in, whether I'm gonna kind of go down and round out this page break or up her, I don't really know. I kind of let my projects speak to me, and then I go where they tell me to. But yeah, this is Mother Nature. I'm very excited to have her in my rotation and on my roster. And I'm very excited to get back to her when I pull her out again. At the end of my current rotation. She'll be the beginning of the next rotation. So I won't see her for a bit. It'll be long enough to miss her, and then I'll bring her out again, and I'll be very happy about it. Okay, I just had to close my balcony door and all my windows because somebody is repairing the next building over, and they just started singing out loud quite loudly and very poorly. So just to save both myself and you guys, I shut the door and turned the AC on. So sorry about that. Okay, the next project I'm gonna share with you is my oldest whip, and it's what I'm calling my focus project. I'm not necessarily focusing on it, like stitching it every month, but it will be the one that I kind of keep out and work on throughout the year, because it started in like, I don't even remember. I'll insert on the screen when I started this. I don't remember if it was 2021 or 2022, but it's long overdue for a finish. So I'm calling this one my focus project for the year. Anyways, that's this project here. This is Frederick the Literate. This is a dimensions kit, just the regular dimensions, not the gold line. And I will insert a picture here of where it was the last time that you saw it. It is being stitched on the kit fabric, which is a 14 count black Aida. It's 2/1 and full cross. And yes, that is correct. This is one of the only dimensions kits that I've seen that is entirely 2/1 and entirely full cross. There's no half stitching. There's no collection of like 6 different colors. There's blends, of course, but it's still 2/1 full cross, believe it or not. So if you are looking to break into a dimensions kit, but all those different things that you've heard about, having a bunch of different pieces of floss in your hand, or blends or fractionals or whatever, if that intimidates you, this is a pretty good one to start out with. So I had finished a little bit more than a quarter of the design. I've been just past the halfway point of the top shelf, and I think you guys are going to be very pleased with the progress that I'm showing you today. I certainly am, so I hope you are too. But I made it here. This is where I am now. I have finished the top shelf. I have fully finished the back stitching. So all the way from left to right on the top shelf and all the way to the top border is fully stitched and back stitched. And I've already moved, so the like halfway through this shelf here is the halfway point line. So I guess technically I'm more than 50% done, because I have this whole shelf done, including the part that's below the halfway line. And then I've moved down Frederick's leg. I still have to finish his foot. It kind of hangs out right here. And then the end of his tail is right here. So I just got to fill that in. And then everything else down here is the bottom shelf. And I've started doing like the little bookmarks. There's like little bookmarks and little pages sticking out of some of the books. That's what these are. So whenever I bring this out, well, actually it's staying out, but whenever I work on this again, I'm gonna probably go down this way, since I've already started in this area, and fill this out, and then do the bottom shelf, and then I'll be done. And I really, really, really would love to finish this year, so that I don't have to bring Frederick into 2026 to keep working on him, because he's so stinking cute, and the project is so fun, and I truly love working on it. So it's time I stayed dedicated to it, stayed the course until I finished it. Is it so cute? Love it, love it, love it. Also, if you would like to see this fully finished, like fully finished, my friend Jen, who is the backcountry stitcher here on Flosstube, has completed this. She's a veterinary dentist, and in her office, although, let me finish my thought. I was gonna say in her office she has this hanging, but I know she just moved to a different practice, so I don't know if this is still hanging in her office. Jen, you'll have to clarify. But she does have this fully finished, and I love the way it's fully finished. So I will be taking inspiration from that whenever I do mine. But if you're interested, definitely go check out her channel. You should check out her channel anyways, because she's awesome and I love her. She's one of my dearest friends here on Flosstube. And I will also be seeing her again in October for the Queen City Stitch Retreat. I'm so excited about it. All right, the next project I have to share with you is a crowd favorite. I know a lot of people have been asking about it in the interim, so they'll be excited to see that I have an update on it this time. And that's this project here. This is my long dog sampler, the pointed fifth. I will insert a picture of where it was the last time that you saw it. It is being stitched on a 32 count Lugana in the color Exotic Orchid in a color palette that I developed myself. I found a picture that inspired me on Pinterest and then pulled colors to match. Okay, so I'm gonna have to kind of step back a little bit. This is a really big project. The finished size is 22 by 22, so basically 2 feet by 2 feet. And it's kind of a handful, so let me see if I can try and get it in all the picture, in all of the frame. Okay, here is where I am now. All right, so the last time you saw it, I'm gonna kind of fold a little bit. The last time you saw it, I had gotten to about here. I had not done the back stitching in this chevron, which is with my metallic gold. I had not filled in this little opening of this little archway. I didn't have the animals up here at the top, the little dogs with the heart. And then there, obviously I haven't done everything on this side either. So since then, I managed to complete yet another diamond fully all the way around, including back stitching. I completed this little bun over here at the top. And then I filled in the kitty cats over here in this little archway here. So all that's left, I have 2 more diamonds, 2 more to get to the bottom. I have another full archway that goes here, and then a half archway, kind of like this one, over here on this side. And then this top part will be completed. So my goal, in as much as I am able to, the next time I pull this out is to finish the top in its entirety. I would like to move on to the bottom, so that way I have progressed beyond the 50% mark. I don't stitch using Pattern Keeper or Markup RXP. I stitch from paper patterns. It's archaic in this day and age of cross stitching, but it is my preferred method. I don't know, I just prefer paper patterns. So I'm stitching this from a paper pattern. So all that to say, I don't know what my actual percentage of stitching is. I just know when I've done more than half, because then I know I'm more than 50%, right? That's an easy benchmark to determine yourself. But yes, I'm so happy. So I have this gold diamond, DMC diamond thread that I'm using as an accent in all of the little motif areas. So it's been added here in the crown, and then here in this little kitty in the corner, I made him gold. And then I'm, using it here, little touches here and there. I will say this, I say this every single time I bring it out. I started this in 2022. I was naive enough to believe I could have it done by 2023. We are now in 2025, and obviously I was very wrong. So eventually I will pluck this out and frog it. I say that every single time and then forget to do it. So one of these days I'll remember. But that was cute of me to assume that I can have it done in a year. If I had stitched monogamously, yeah, that would be easy, but I don't do that, obviously. So anyways, one more glance, one more look. She's beautiful, and I do love her very much. So let me put her away now. Like I said, she's been a very popular project for people who come back to my channel regularly. So I'm glad I was finally able to give you an update on this project, because I know a lot of people really enjoy it, and I like making people happy, Okay, moving right along. My next project to share with you today is this project here. This is Luna Mystica by Bella Filipina, and I was super excited to bring her out because of the fact that she got a hair and skin conversion. So she has a whole different feel to her, and I'm just loving the result. So first, let me insert a picture of where you saw it last time. This is being stitched on a 32 count Mediterranean Sea linen with all the called fors other than her hair and her skin. And here's where she is now. Y'all, she's got a face. She has a beautiful face. Oh my God, I love her so much. Okay, so like I said, I did a hair and skin conversion. So I've made her this lovely black mermaid. I converted her skin to be darker. I converted her hair to be darker. And I even converted some of the beads and the krynic that go into her hair. So this back part of her hair is completely done. I even, other than the beads, that's gonna wait to last. I even put in the back stitching. I put some of the back stitching in for some of these things. However, there is still a little bit more hair to go. You see this part kind of goes down here. So she's got this little swoop of hair that goes this way. So that's all that's left of this part of her. I did do a little bit of the back stitching. So I backstitched her face and part of her arm. The only part I didn't backstitch yet was the front of her arm, because of the fact that she's got that hair that goes that way. So I didn't want to do the backstitching yet until I got those stitches in. And then I also moved up the little floral moon. I think it was about here last time. So I did that part. So here she is. What do you think? I'm so happy with her. She looks fabulous. And the colors, especially in person, they're just so rich and yummy, and she looks stunning. I love her. So next time I pull her out, my goal is going to be to finish the moon, except for beading, of course. There's a lot of like strands and stuff that hang down that I can backstitch, but the beading, I always like to save the beading for last, because I feel like it goes pretty quickly. And obviously, as you can see, I like to stitch in a hoop. Forgive the hoop marks. Anyways, I'm going to save beading for last, but I will kind of progress through the moon, hopefully. And then I would like to also finish her hair, because it's just this part here, and then like the tip of the moon comes out this way. So I would like to have that section done. And then if I can accomplish that, then the next time I bring her out, all I'll have to do is finish her tail, which is, you know, not entirely a small amount of stitching, but it feels doable, maybe. And then I'll bead, and then I'll be finished with this beauty, whom I love so, so, so much. There she is, Luna Mystica. She's a lovely lady. Alrighty, next up is this project here. This is another popular one that I really enjoy, but also a lot of the viewers really like, my returning Stitchy friends. This is called Mushroom Sampler, and it's from an Etsy shop called Cute Patterns by Maria. I really love a mushroom. I really love a mushroom. Anything with a mushroom, anything with a cat, anything with sparkle, I really love, but most people who've been here a while know that mushrooms are like my kryptonite, because I don't know what it is. Don't ask me. But I will insert a picture of where it was the last time that you saw it. This is being stitched on a 16 count Brandywine Ada 2/1 full cross, using all the called fors, and kind of do some folds here. This is where I got to. So I actually managed to, I had been kind of doing like a 1 mushroom and update speed, but I went ahead and put 2 in, since my progression through my rotation is actually kind of slow. I wanted to make sure I got a little bit more progress done. So I put in this guy and all the little bubbles and botanicals around it, and then I went down to the bottom row and I did that guy. And Lord Almighty, I love these colors. They're so warm and they're so sweet, and I just love the design elements here. I really enjoy the way the backstitching is done. Now I know backstitching is like a taboo word whenever you say you enjoy something, because so many people hate it. I'm never the type to mind it. I think the backstitching on any project does a lot of heavy lifting when it comes to your finished sort of impact. I think backstitching does carry a lot of designs, and this one certainly as well. I mean, it's cute before backstitching, but it really pops after. But the backstitching in each of these mushrooms is at least like 4 or 5 colors. But look at how lovely it looks when it's all put together. It's just a beaut. So the next time I bring this out, if I'm feeling ambitious, I would like to finish. But that's, you know, like 25% of the project. So who knows if I'll actually be able to accomplish that. We'll call that a stretch goal. But at the very least, I would like to do 2 of the 3 remaining mushrooms and then try and get this as close to a finish as possible. If not, just finish it. Because this is such a beauty. And I'm very excited to frame this and have it hang on my wall because I just love it so much. Okay, the next project that I have to share with you is actually my other new start. And at the beginning of the year, when I did my whip parade, or the end of last year, whatever you want to call it, I had kitted and shown a couple of different projects that I might want to start if I feel that itch, that need to start something. And I went ahead and started one. And I asked people to leave a comment as to which one they liked the best, so that, you know, I might take that into consideration whenever I'm starting. And the one that everybody liked the most, and kind of the one I was leaning towards as well, lined up, believe it or not, and that's this project here. This is Wood Witch by Raven Stitchcraft on Etsy, and I will have her Etsy shop linked down below as well. And then I do believe there's a Raven Stitchcraft sale going on at the moment. If I'm not mistaken, I think Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, started it with someone or some other people. I will have all the information on the screen since I'm having trouble thinking about it, but I'm like 90% sure that Beth, the Steadfast Stitcher, has something to do with this sale. Whatever the hashtag is, I'll have that included too, because I don't know what that is. But now, I guess inadvertently, I'm a part of that stitch along because I too have started a Raven Stitchcraft piece. Now, the designer has several of these style patterns that are like the woodcut style. And there's even a Wood Witch 2, which I love, and she has like some different, it's very similar, but instead of a cauldron, she's got some different animals. Like it's a different animal than like the owl and stuff. And I think there's like a snake, and anyways, they all look very pretty. And there's a ton of other ones. So I don't have a before picture to show you, obviously, because there was no before. But this is where I got to. So not very far, not really enough to tell what it is yet, but I was feeling the need to start something, and sometimes you just gotta do what your heart tells you, and my heart told me to start this. So I'm stitching this on a piece of 32 count mushroom stew linen from Oak Crown Studios, and instead of doing the black that's called for in the pattern, I am using the darkest brown, the 3371, I believe it is, for my woodcut. So it's got a very like warm feel to it because I've got the warmth of this beautiful mushroom stew fabric, and then a softer tone in the brown as opposed to just a stark black. And I'm very happy with it so far. So just so you know where I'm at, I started in the middle. This is her arm, or the like elbow here, and then going up to her hand. And then these are some curly swirlies in her hair. And then this, I believe, is her neck here. So her face is coming in like right up here. Yes, so I'm right in here. There's the curly Q right there. And then the base of her arm there. And then, yep, coming up here, this line right here is her neck. Everything back there, it's the bottom of her neck, hair, and then face is gonna go here. So yeah, I stitched on this on a Zoom for the Queen City Stitch Retreat, and this is everything I got done while on that Zoom. So, I mean, it does take a fair amount of concentration because obviously you do have to do counting, but I don't have to do anything other than pull one color, which is really nice. So yeah, it's a decent Zoom stitch if you are able to kind of multitask listening and then counting. If you're not, maybe not this project. But there she is. There's my Wood Witch. And into the rotation she goes. And I'm very excited because this is the full piece that I cut from this fabric for this project. So I do actually still have a little bit left over for something smaller, which is great because I really love this mushroom stew color from Oak Crown Studios. Oak Crown Studios is owned and hand dyed by Amy of Fiber Arts Amy here on Flosstube. She's got her own channel where she talks about her business and all of her own stitching. So if you would like to support a fellow Flosstuber, of course I will have her channel linked down below as well as her shop. And I've bought several pieces from her. I would also like to point out that these fabrics on my quilt wall, the backgrounds, are also from Fiber Arts Amy. So if you want more information on that, definitely check out my Quilter's Corner video coming up. Okay, I've got one more whip to share with you, and then we'll go over kind of plans, so that way if you want to say goodbye there and not watch the haul portion, you're welcome to, because I know not everybody cares necessarily. But before you do that, I do have one more project to share with you. Now, I went through the ringer with this project because I almost had a massive accident with it, and I'll give you more details in just a second. Okay, but that's this project here. This is called Cozy Cub by the Design Works Gold Petite Collection. And this is where it was the last time you saw it. It's being stitched with all of the kit floss and fabric materials. It's either 2 or 3 over 1, both full and half cross, on an 18 count ivory Aida. And here's where I am now. So here's the little cub's face. And in the meantime, I finished, other than the back stitching, this half of his, well, most of this half of his face. I finished the eye, I finished the ear. There's still a little bit down here, but, and then the back stitching, because there's some fur that's back stitched. But for the most part, like the head, nose, eye, done. And then I went into the background, and this is a leg and tail, I believe. Let me see. Oh, it's still the leg. Tail's down here of presumably mom that he's laying on. So I started working on this part. It got down here, and then I started putting in the background here. Now, the majority of the half crosses are in the back on the top here. And then I think there's like a small smattering of a few of them down here, but everything else for the most part is 2 over 1 full cross. And it is full coverage. So there's more than a little bit of stitching here. It's kind of a chunky piece in terms of the work you gotta put into it. Now, the way that this thing took some years off my life because of the accident, I swear. I spilled coffee on it, and it scared me half to death. Fortunately, I put it directly into the wash immediately, let it soak. Dimension flosses should be color fast. If you're ever in doubt, just put a color catcher in when you wash it. Thankfully, it came out great. The coffee was removed pretty quickly, and silver lining is that even if it didn't, with it being full coverage, you wouldn't necessarily see it. So most of my coffee spilt over here and then a little bit down here. I got almost nothing on the stitching itself, so it worked out okay. But I did have a moment of panic when it happened. You can see my cover page, see how covered in coffee it is. And then the pattern as well got kind of warped because there's coffee all over it. But the project I was able to save. And to be honest, I probably, as long as it doesn't ruin my stitching, if it's full coverage, I'm probably gonna just keep going with it, stain or no stain, because it's gonna get covered up, right? In my mind it is. And then whenever I frame it, I'm not gonna frame it with any of the extra fabric showing. It's gonna be covered in a mat or framed in a 5x7 where you don't see any of the extra fabric. So that's how it aged me a little bit. But I fixed the problem. It's fine. I'm moving on. Don't dwell on the past, Kelly. So next time I bring this out, what I would like to do is finish the background at the very least. Finish everything behind my little tiger here. So finish all of this and then hopefully come back into his face. I need to finish this eye and the ear. I would like to finish like his actual head as well. And I think that's a decent goal. Since most everything back here is half cross, not all of it, but most of it is half cross, it will in theory move a lot faster. And I would like to reach this opposite corner since I finally hit that one and fill out the top border and start coming down this side and then finish his little head. Yeah, super cute. I do really love this project, so I'm glad I was able to save it because it would have just broken my heart if I had to scrap it because I dropped coffee on it. There you have it. Okay, I have one more thing to show before haul. And I mentioned at the beginning of the video that I do have a finish to share. Now, I say that with an asterisk because it's not my finish, but I still wanted to share it anyways because I'm so very proud of the person who did it for doing this. So my best friend, Melissa, she's been my best friend for a number of years now, and she is also a cross stitcher and she watches my Flosstube. So say hi to Melissa, everybody. She picked up a dimensions kit herself and she was able to finish it recently, and she has passed it along to me because I'm going to frame it for her, which is why it's in my possession. But before I do that, I definitely wanted to brag on her a little bit. So here is her finish. Now, if I was smart, I would have looked at the name of this kit before I started filming, but I didn't do that. So I'm gonna include it on the screen. It's something butterfly, like obviously. And I know there is a sister pattern to it. And so she did it, she finished it. And this I know is a Dimensions Gold Petite, so I know it's not, I don't want to say beginner friendly because that's not true, but it is a little bit more complex in terms of the skill level required to complete it, as opposed to something like my Frederick the Literate, which is not in the gold collection. This is a little bit more, requires a little bit more skill because there is specialty stitches involved. There's couching. She's never done couching before. There's French knots, there's blends and fractionals and all sorts of stuff. The typical stuff that people expect to see when they do it dimensions. And she dove headfirst into it and she finished it. And I'm so excited for her. So I'm going to frame this for her before I give it to her. Now her birthday is also in like a couple of days. So if you would be so kind, please wish her a happy birthday in the comments and let her know your thoughts about her finish here, because I think it's a stunner. It looks so cool. I really love all the filigree in the background. It looks really good. And then this white stitching, this is all couched around the wings. And there's a blending filament and a lot of the gold. A lot of that is couched. She just did so good and it looks amazing. So I'm gonna frame this for her. And I really wanted to just brag on her and share that with you guys, since we love to share and enjoy each other's stitchy accomplishments. So good job, Mel. You did fabulous. So that was all the stitching. Plans before the next time is just to keep going through my rotation and then maybe start another start since I have some kind of ready to go. If I feel the need, I may not, I don't know. It'll be a surprise for the both of us when we come back for the next update. But if that's all you came to see, thank you so much for stopping by. What's left in this video is just going to be my haul. Last year I kind of gave myself a Stitch from Stash buy ban, and this year I'm making up for it because I did not give myself those same limitations. So I just want to go over my haul, the things that I've acquired over the last 3 months, and then we'll sign off. Okay, so because I am going back to the Queen City Stitch Retreat this year, and this year the guest designer is Nora Corbett again. And so it's a mirror themed retreat this year, and they, as of right now, are only doing Mira Nora themes every other year. Last year, the guest designer was Autumn Lane Stitchery, which is fabulous. But this year it's Nora. So I'm feeling a very Nora-esque vibe right now. So I dipped into my wish list and I purchased a handful of Mira and Nora patterns that I'm excited to share with you. So the first one that I've had on my list for a while is this one here. This is Florentina, and I love her because she's so full of attitude. I love the look on her face. She is Sassy Pants McGee, and there's a little key cap right here beneath the little pedestal she's sitting on. Now, I have grand plans for Florentina. Don't ask me when I'm gonna start her, but my intention, at least as of right now, for Florentina is to do a full conversion on her and make her sort of dark or like evil. Like I want the cat to be black for sure. And I want, you know, her colors to be less light and airy and ethereal and more darker and kind of, you know, sassier, because that's the vibe that her face is giving me. Like I said, who knows when I'll do that? But as of right now, that is my intention for Florentina. The next one is Moonflowers. And she's been on my wish list for a hot minute. I actually had her purchased, or at least in my cart at one point, and they had to cancel her order because she was back ordered and they didn't know when they were getting more. And so I panicked because I was like, oh no, is she gonna be the next one that goes out of print? And so when it came back in stock, I was like, buy. And I'm so grateful because she's got this lovely like silk moon bed setup that I think looks so cozy and lovely and whimsical and fun. And I'm very excited that I got my hands on her before she went out of print. And this next one is one of her newer releases, and that's Pretty to Think. And this is actually, I'm surprised that this was released as a Mira and not a Nora because the size of it is much smaller. It is a 7.63 inches by 7.63 inches total size. So in my experience, Nora's, like, let's look at the other ones. Nora's are smaller than Mira's. So for example, Moonflowers is 12.38 inches by 15 inches. And Florentina is 12 inches by 18.44 inches. Like they're significantly larger, but I suspect that she took into consideration the requirements in terms of flosses and beads, because they also obviously tend to have higher floss and bead counts and requirements for larger projects. So in spite of its size, it still has a lot of called fors. So I don't know, maybe that has something to do with it. Honestly, it makes no never mind to me because I was gonna stitch her either way. I just think she's so lovely that she has, you know, just a little bit of hair, but for the most part, she's just all flowers and this beautiful, thoughtful expression. I love it. Now these next three I'm gonna show you together because they are a line, and I think some people are surprised that I haven't purchased them sooner. Honestly, if I didn't put that buy ban on myself last year, I probably would have purchased them sooner. And that's these three here, her line of the mushroom ladies. So this is Miss Yellow Mushroom, Miss Pink Mushroom, and Miss Forest Mushroom. So these are Nora's rather than Mira's. And running with our smaller size theme, yeah, these are, let's see here. On 32 count, these are all approximately 5 to 6 inches by 9 to 10 inches high and tall. So they're just a little bit smaller. The color requirements, you see, here I'll list them or show them on the back. See the color, the floss requirements and the bead requirements are definitely smaller than the Mirabilias, which is why I think this one ended up being in the Mirror line as opposed to the Nora line, because the floss requirements for the Noras tend to be less so. But given what I told you guys earlier and what people know to be true about my love of mushrooms, I think it was surprising that I hadn't purchased these yet, but I have them now. And I think my plan for them is to have them stitched together on the same fabric, perhaps even on a smaller count than a 32, so they're even tinier. I'm doing a mini Mira right now, and I'm really loving the way that's going. So I might continue that kind of theme and tradition with these little dudes. Now, the last 2 retreats, I started new projects when I was there. So I'd say the chances are pretty good that I'm gonna do that again. Here at this next one in October, but I don't know which one. Paula, me and you tend to be stitching together. So if you have an idea, or if there's something that you want to start, let me know. And then if not, that's okay. Don't feel pressured. But yeah, there's a decent chance that I'll start one of these projects or something else in my stash that is Mira and Nora designed in October. Now, keeping with the fancy lady theme, the next 2 projects that I purchased to keep in my stash, both fancy ladies, but a different designer. These are both Joan Elliott, and I'm very excited to have them. I've seen them both fully finished, or maybe not fully finished, at least finished, if I recall correctly, on Instagram, and I thought they were breathtaking. So I definitely wanted to include them in my collection, and that's Victorian Lady. Her full title is Victorian Lady the Dance Card, but I know her as Victorian Lady, and Edgewardian Lady. Now this one is the one that I saw for sure fully finished on Instagram, and the thing that draws me to her is the coloring and the time period. Edgewardian is the same as Rose on the Titanic. We all love the Titanic. Who doesn't? It's a great movie. That was the same era. And Rose, especially that scene where we first see her and she steps out of the carriage and she's wearing that giant, beautiful purple hat with the cream and purple pinstripe, like travel suit. Oh my God. I love it so much. And that is exactly what this reminds me of. Obviously she's not in a cream and purple pinstripe suit, but this is still giving me very much Rose vibes, very much Titanic. And that's one of my favorite movies in the entire world. So her, I'm very excited to have. And then I love a Victorian dress and a Victorian time period in general. I love the style of the dress. I love the slender front with the huge bustle. I think that's such a cool style, and I wish we could bring it back. But also because I love steampunk so much, which derives a lot of its inspiration from the Victorian era, this has got an added layer of interest for me. And then I love Joan Elliott. I mentioned earlier, I have a Design Works by Joan Elliott in my rotation. I have another Joan Elliott in my rotation in the later months of the year. And I have a handful of Joan Elliott's in my collection. So these are gonna be in good company in my stash. Okay, the last little bit of haul, this is the end, is a magazine that I found at my local Barnes & Noble. And truly and honestly, I bought it for one pattern specifically, but there's actually a handful of others in here that I think are kind of fantastic that I'll probably end up stitching at some point. So that's this magazine here. This is the Cross Stitcher, and this is the bumper issue. So it's beefed up a little bit. There's some extra pages and extra patterns in here. This is the October 2024 issue, and the pattern that I got it for was literally this one here. So this is the Shades of Inspiration, Colors of the Home. And it's just like little samples of textures and colors that they found around the house. And not everything is as I would stitch it. And you can tell, so it says here it's classic British colors of the home. So you can tell it's British because these are French fries and it says chips, right? It's very British. This says football kit, which is what they refer to as their soccer uniforms for their professional footballers. Obviously we do not have football, we have soccer. They have baked beans. I don't know what it is about the British and baked beans. No hate on baked beans. I love a baked bean. But I don't put it on toast. I barbecue it and eat it with brisket. You know what I mean? Cultural differences. It's not incorrect, but it's not necessarily something I would include in my colors of the home. But there's just a bunch of really cool little patterns, which I thought this would be a really cool exercise in just finding and even improvising textures and patterns around your own home for personalization. I think that would actually be really awesome. So that's what I bought this for. But also, I want to show you some of the other ones. I can't show you everything. I don't want to do a flip through necessarily, but this is like a full coverage little scenic piece called the Pemberley House. If you're a Pride and Prejudice, it says it right there. If you're a Pride and Prejudice junkie like me, you are familiar with the Pemberley House. The Pemberley House is where Mr. Darcy lives. And I love him. Both the Colin Firth and the Matthew McFadden Mr. Darcy. Obviously, my introduction to Mr. Darcy was through Matthew McFadden and the Keira Knightley version of Pride and Prejudice. But the Pemberley House is his home, this giant mansion in the back. I will have the magazine itself linked down below. I think I can do past issues. I think most magazines you can find electronic versions of past issues online. Then there's also this collection of postage stamps with beautiful florals on there. I'm sorry, it's kind of going fuzzy. So, like I said, I bought it for this, but there's a bajillion other patterns, including ones that aren't on the cover. Let me find some. This one's pretty on brand at the moment. Votes for Women. Women's suffrage pattern. That's pretty cool. This is cute. Single sock seek soulmates. Let's see, one more. Oh, this is cute. Gotta try and hide the pattern or the. This is a cute little thread themed design that they turned into a thread keep or like a floss drop keep for your projects. That's really cute. So yeah, there's 102 seasonal designs in here. So this issue I felt like was worth the price. Okay guys, that's everything. I am going to, I'm going out to lunch and then I'm gonna come and back either later today or tomorrow and finish filming my Quilter's Corner. And then I will get everything edited, get it up online. If you have any questions at all, feel free to reach out to me on Instagram, leave a comment. I've included my email in the description so you can send me an email. I try to get back as fast as possible. Hopefully it won't be quite as much of a break between here and the next one because like I said, I've kind of caught up on all of my life obligations in the meantime. So I should have more stitchy time, more crafty time, more reading time. That's it. That's everything. I'll see you guys in the summertime, probably around June, maybe July, June, for my next update. And in the meantime, I hope you're all happy and healthy. I wish you lots of stitchy goodness, and I will talk to you soon. Bye.